Hey y'all, this is Allison. I was hanging out in my space to craft, and my daughter asked me to make a card for her little friend who is starting kindergarten. This is her best friend's little sister. You've seen me make birthday pages, and she's been in other pages that we've done. So I pulled out some school papers. I really like this one with the ABCs on it. And it was a scrap, and it was already torn at the bottom. So I'm going to lean into that and keep it torn. I've pulled out some stamps and some other scraps of paper that I can use. And what I think I'm going to do is make some circles and place those on the page. I spend quite a bit of time trying to figure out the layout for those. But I'm going to use this star paper and then this apple paper. And I'm doing a bigger star out of these two pieces of paper. And then I'll switch, bigger circle. And then I'll switch blades to use the smaller or the further away blade on the Creative Memories templates, which makes the smaller circle. So I'm going to do those, and then I have another scrap of paper that had some stripes on it that I decide will be a great addition to these patterns. So I'm just going to try and get a decent sized, this will just be a half circle, a semicircle. I was really struggling with getting the blades. It was swiveling really freely, which is good when you're making it, but not when you're trying to set it. All right, so I'll just play around with those. There's quite a bit of playing around with these, trying to find the right place for them. I probably could have used one more size and done 3 sizes, but that's okay. And I decided to make another small one out of this paper. And I just fuss around until it looks like I think I want it. And I'm trying to leave some space for a sentiment at the bottom. So I do quite a bit of rearranging. And I'm trying to make it not look like 3 of the same in a line. I'm trying to make it look random. It takes a lot of work to make something look random, which is ironic, I guess. Now, the thing I didn't like that is that it's making a sort of hoop, so I'm going to try and play with that a bit. And I think I finally figured out an approximate layout. Now, I put all these down and then I realized I meant to ink them. So I do have to pull them off and ink them after. Thank goodness I didn't glue these pieces down and used repositionable adhesive. So just messing around with it a little bit, and then I'm going to stamp. I'm going to edge everything with black ink, which means everything has to come back off. Silly me. So if you do a card like this, maybe ink it before you stick everything down. But in the process, I also realized I didn't want everything layered in the same way, one on top of the other. I want different ones on top and different ones underneath and stuff like that. So Again, trying to randomize that look a little bit, and I think that looks good. And I picked a sentiment that says reach for the stars, and then I can stamp and cut some stars to add on to this to help decorate it. And you can see I have that other paper there with some icons, I guess, on it, and so I'm going to cut out some of those icons as well. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to pull out the star from this set because it's not just a plain star, it has a line in it. And I pick a couple of different inks. I don't like this orange, it's too bright, so that's a reject. But the other two colors work okay. I'm going to do a green, and I think this one is Mowed Lawn. So I'm stamping quite a few. I'm going to end up cutting 3 of each color. Here are the red ones. And I'll pick a different orange, and it's I think it's the honey color, so it looks kind of brown on the cover, but it's more of an orange, and it's the right color. And I'll do one more green just in case. Make sure I have 3 good ones. Now I'm going to go off and fussy cut those, and some of the little icons from that paper, just inking those up, and then we're ready to decorate. I also used a stitched rectangle, nested rectangles for the sentiment, and picked a red paper since I've got a lot of already of that yellow and that green on the page. Just putting a little ink around the edges of all the little stars. I had hoped that my daughter would help me come make this card, but she was busy taking a nap, and so I decided to go ahead and make it for her and hope that she liked it, and she thought it was real cute. So I do decide to glue down the stars just because they're a little fussy to get adhesive on. And I did make this card pretty big. It's 5.5 by about 7 or 7.5. I made it a big card so that she can write in it. And I knew I wanted a lot of space to decorate and embellish it. I really like this little stack of books at the top, and that helps me create even a little triangle around the sentiment there. And then I'm just going to make these tiny little clusters in a couple of the circles and add the stars. So there's a little pencil, a little adding board. So I'm pretty pleased with the placement, and then we'll just glue everything down. And then I'm going to add sequins as well. And I end up looking for different sequins. I don't really have a lot of sequins in these primary colors, but I did have a green that matched the background pretty well, and so I thought that would be good. I did want to be sure to include at least a little bit of bling on here because this is very much a little princess girl. but I really wanted to lean into the school theme for this card for her. And we're ready to glue that down onto the card base. And I think that came out pretty cute, actually. And now we'll just add some sequins. So I'm looking through here. There's a lot of purples and blues in there. That's not going to work. There were some greens in this one that I could have pulled out. But I always feel bad about pulling out individual sequins or individual colors from a sequin mix because it can throw off the mix a little bit. So I found some green ones that I had that are a perfect match. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of those around. We'll get those glued down and this card will be done. So please give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe or share my page if you have crafty friends. And come on back to My Space to Craft. I've got some more pages to make. I've got some page kits to create. And I'll probably use my scraps to make some more cards. All right, we're ready to take a close-up now. Thanks a lot, you guys. Come on back to My Space to Craft.